These three wrecked, Charles Sumner and James O'Brien, could win this race. Coming up on the high side, Taylor Stout tries to use the run, and now it is a push from Goodell on Chris Hudson on the bottom. Does he push him the whole way, or does he abandon him? He tries to find the inside. They are going to come together. They're going to come together, and Stout keeps it straight. Taylor Stout will win this race.
We're 3 wide down the front straightaway with a bump draft in the middle.
And that's Cowgill that's getting the bump from Cervantes. Another one joining in. Stanton working together with Greenhoe now and looking to go as far into the corner as they dare. Greenhoe around the outside. Cowgill still with him. Gets fed out just like he fed him out before. And Sinead pokes his nose out, and so does Moraes. Moraes manages to get to the inside, but this is through the 90. They're going to be wheel to wheel as they come up through the S's. This could be a toss-up to either one of them as to who comes out ahead. Back and forth they weave as they climb over the crest, almost banging doors, in fact, and cutting a big hole in the air. And Jean-Marc Tremblay wants to try and find a way through. Instead, he has to play defense as now Bertome makes a go at things. And down into the corner, Moraes is onto the podium as J.R. Williams falls to 4th.
Close behind. He's just going to want to keep everything nice and tight here. Careful through turn 5. That's a little bit, flirting with disaster was B.J. Fulton. Here he comes on the charge.
He's got the speed, but he's around the outside of turn 6, and he takes it. Can he keep it on the track? Yes, he does.
Oh, here comes Karthik Pai on Ove Trangrade.
Down the inside of turn 1, and Trangrade off into the grass. Thankfully keeps it from spinning back across into Miko. Miko has to dodge to avoid, but here he goes. Great exit. He's got the slipstream. Ove's going to defend. Coming down into Charlotte's Web, looking around the outside, breaks deeper into the corner. Can he do it the long way around? Not quite.
Not quite, and Lino's going to have to line this up again, but he is very close. He's not done. He's going to have a look going down to the inside of the museum corner. He's going to have to be later under the binders, too wide.
Couldn't quite get there, in a little puff of smoke as he has to get on the brakes once again, not to run into the back of him.
Lakeville, Connecticut. Inauspicious to so many people in the world, but for those who are iRacers, this is one of the few tracks that every driver knows like the back of their hand. Even more so today with classic variants, we're at Lime Rock Park for the 4th round of the Sunday Drivers' Cup, live on the Global SimRacing Channel. I'm Jake Sperry, here to deliver the story set before your eyes. Derek Watson is alongside me in the booth, with Zach Johnson directing the cameras, provided by Dougie Beard behind the scenes. Now that we all know what Lime Rock is like as a bastion of positioning and patience, but for those who haven't had the privilege of experiencing this circuit, GSRC is going to take you around this beautiful circuit with a guide of the do's and don'ts of Jim Vile's masterpiece.
Welcome to Lime Rock Park. Located in the northwest corner of Connecticut, this unassuming little track has garnered a surprisingly passionate following. Its unique aspects create a circuit not only full of character, but consistently challenging even to modern race cars. While it has 4 different possible layouts, on the classic version, only 7 corners are split along a 1.5 mile track, with just a single one of them turning left. Though simple in appearance, most drivers will tell you that trying to be fast here is anything but. The run down the front stretch into Big Bend offers pretty much the only viable passing spot, but it's a double apex right-hander which lures drivers into taking it too fast. The uphill is also scary quick considering its lack of runoff and can sometimes cause cars to get airborne over its crest. Then, on the opposite end, the downhill sends cars diving into a quick sweeper, which requires a good exit speed in order to defend or attack back into the first corner. Modern racing mostly uses the more recently built chicanes, especially at the uphill. But one of the most unusual facts about this track is that the races are never held on Sunday. Due to a legal agreement with a nearby church, events must take place on Fridays and Saturdays. The confines around this place are tight, the passing opportunities are few, and mistakes are usually punished with race-ending damage. With most other road courses now being built with upwards of 3 and 4 miles in length, this track stands out. But in an age of multi-million-dollar facilities and flashy buildings, this quaint small circuit manages to keep fans coming back with its intimate and grassroots setting.
Lime Rock Park, a circuit which has been forever on the IMSA calendar and a track which is currently owned by the Skip Barber Corporation. But when you look at this track and you understand what makes this difficult, you try and design something like this today and say you're only going to put one left-handed corner in for a circuit really here, Derek, you'd say you must be biting your arm and your leg.
Yeah, that's right. There is a corner here called the left-hander because it is the only left-hander on the track. It comes right after the big bend. This is the classic layout of Lime Rock. It's a 1.53 mile track or 2.462 kilometers, depending upon your preference of measurements. So, as you said in the beginning, we are here in the state of Connecticut, as you see the track layout here on your screen.
We absolutely are, and what an incredible bit of battling that we are going to have today. This is going to be a 30-minute race in terms of the battles, 28 laps today, but let's talk how drivers are situated in the championship standings. It is Tom Daly out clear at the moment. He's got 90 points to his name, and he is leading just ahead of Xavi Lopez, who is in second, 21 points behind. Kaye Kivisto is there in third. He is just 9 points back further than that. Then following on, you've got Michael Elliott and Nuno Sousa. They are fourth and fifth at the moment in a really close scrap up there at the pointy end of the championship. But it's not just about the drivers' points, it's the team's points as well.
Yeah, that's right. So here for the team points, you see we have Wumpy Motorsports with 97 points leading currently after a couple races. Positive Delta, 16 points back. And then you got Spirit 14, iRacing Netherlands, and Simtech Racing rounding out your top 5.
Absolutely. And then, of course, on top of that, we've got many, many different nationalities here racing. And so the Nations Cup looks like this. It is the Irish who are in control, 58 points to the good. Spain find themselves second, a full 18 points behind. Following on from that is a tie for third between Finland and the United Kingdom. And then the Netherlands find themselves in fifth position, 28 points back when it comes to the Nations Cup. Now, what they are going to have to be a little alert on here today is some of what makes this circuit very, very difficult. It's going to be a very congested track with lots of battling. And if you need to battle here, you're going to need a very specific setup. A place that you could go for that is the Majors Garage, sponsors, of course, of all of our efforts here when it comes to the Global SimRacing Channel. Make sure you check them out because they are the home of the 3 Baseline Plus setups. You can get help from any of the garage coaches 24/7. Sign up now for awesome, affordable monthly subscriptions, telemetry, coaching, and more by simply clicking on our link in the description below. And if you use our special discount code MajorsGSRC, you can get 10% off of anything over there with the Majors Garage. But this really here, Derek, is a track of hundreds, not a track of tenths. It is so small. It is all about gathering and gaining momentum. You hardly touch the brake for the second half of the lap.
You really won't, and especially, using these MX-5 cars is even more about momentum than maybe other cars you would put here on the track. It's all about momentum. As we said, only one left-hander on the course, and especially coming down that final turn to get to the Sam Posey straight, you're going to want all the momentum you can get to get down there and get to the finish line first.
You certainly do, and you're going to see drivers maybe pushing it a little bit hard out there. It is going to be very, very difficult, but you can see we are in the thralls of qualifying. 10 minutes put on the clock to set a representative time, and of course, it is open qualifying, so you can finish the lap that you start. Currently, it's Brett Ride who's got the best time of anybody at the moment, a 58.161 on the books, and they can see just an element of what makes that final corner so aggressive. Drivers are going to be pushing the very limits that they can. The moment that they put all four wheels off of the circuit, as Tom Daly, who we just saw there go fastest, the 57.961, just joined there by James Austin in second position. One of the keys you're going to see is the moment all four wheels come off of the asphalt, that's a 1x instant point and the lap is invalidated.
Yeah, it definitely is, and that's something to keep in mind here. The qualifying, of course, important for where you start the race. You also saw on the graphic a moment ago, a note here, there's a 1 bonus point for getting the pole here, so a little bit more on the line than maybe your typical qualifying session, as we see Brett Ryan now down to 5th as Tom Daly, your points leader, has now taken over the pole temporarily here in qualifying.
He certainly has. So you got to love it when you're at the front of the field. You get maximum points for being the fastest, then you get a point for being the fastest, and then you get a point for being the fastest. That's what I love about this league, is that you get 3 major points for being fastest and 2 bonus points for being the fastest. They can see Tom Daly improving on his lap time. 57.909 puts him 7.5 hundredths of a second clear of James Austin now, and giving himself a little bit of a buffer margin. This is the sort of old school style circuit, though, that you do love to see out there when you get great racing around this track. You've got to maneuver, you've got to make sure that you qualify the car well and place yourself in the right positions, and it can very easily be a whole heap of trouble later down, as Michael Elliott goes fastest, 57.903, and just a thousandth behind him is the number 1 of Kaye Kivisto.
Yeah, so you see qualifying really getting busy here as more guys are getting the laps in, getting those tires warmed up, and we're going to see probably some more time set, I think, before we're done here. So, I mean, our fastest time in practice was a 57.590 by Tom Daly. So I don't think qualifying is settled just yet.
No, I definitely don't think so. Jordanin Svetanov is up now into 4th position. Xabi Lopez has just jumped 7th fastest, and Pedro Marimon is up now into the 9th position. So a lot of drivers are finding some good times out there on the board, and they know that as well that they have infinite opportunities to put their lap time down. They're only affected, of course, by how much time is left on the clock, which means if a lap doesn't go the way they want to, Derek, they have that opportunity. Just hit the brakes as Jordanin Svetanov goes fastest, 57.775. That's a 10th and a quarter clear of anyone else. You have that real opportunity to go out, maybe even reset the car, go back to the garage, try again.
Yeah, you know what? You do definitely have that. As I'm watching Svetanov here, using a tactic we've seen in other styles of racing, pulled a slight bit of draft off that qualifying lap, and was able to set a new pole time here. So yeah, I mean, we'll see some guys definitely go back in, get new tires, maybe shake off, you know, the nervousness for a second, and then get back on track here. About about 3.5 minutes left. Pardon me. 6 minutes have elapsed here in qualifying already.
Already has, and they can see the Bulgarian for Kinda Sus Racing making good progress. Gonna try a drive to the line, see what he can get. The answer is that is a 58.6, so definitely no improvement there. And it's a very heavy stacked field today, 30 drivers out there looking to put racing, and that's going to be very difficult to try and get that time in towards the end of the session. This track will rubber in with 30 MX-5s rampaging around the circuit, and just as quickly as that track's going to hit that nice level of grip, it's just going to slick away when too much rubber gets put down.
Yeah, it's not only that, though. You're right, that is a factor. But the other factor is if one driver's being too aggressive on that last lap and he loops it around here in an open qualifying format, that will really hurt, you know, people behind him, either wanting to check up to not hit him or...
It's going to be quite dangerous down here. It is a valley of those who don't have a car anymore. And that's what we're talking about. That was 3 or 4 different drivers who have basically totaled their car, needing to tow back to the pits with 2.5 minutes.
There you go. That's a good example. Now, luckily for the guys on track, those guys got off track, so it's not going to affect the whole field. But, you know, you get someone maybe through the big bend who's sitting in the middle of the track during open qualifying. That'll lots of runs here towards the end of qualifying.
Sandavada moves up into 4th position, and now you've got Stefan Alderding up into 6th. It really is a congested qualifying session as you talk about this in terms of how close is it, how strong is this field. The top 21 drivers right now are split by just 0.7 of a second.
Yeah, for sure. So to be tight qualifying, to be tight racing, these are, I don't know if we said before, these are fixed setups. So everyone's going to have the same car, different paints, or different liveries, pardon me here. We're doing road racing, not paint schemes. So different liveries, but the same car under the hood. It's just about how well you can drive it.
Absolutely, and we're going to see a lot of drivers trying to push for their laps and knowing that they can set a time right up until the clock expires. As long as they pass the start-finish line, they're able to start a flying lap around this place today. And you're seeing a lot of drivers who are just trying to stay out of the way of those who are on flying laps as well. They're actually going out off the circuit onto the grass, and that makes it even more difficult the longer a session goes on, because part of iRacing's dynamic track system is you're going to be bringing that grass back out onto the circuit, and that's going to muddy up the line. Sandavada on board with the Dutchman for Spirit 14 Racing, making his way through this uphill and this very, very incredible jump.
Yeah, it definitely is. You were watching that on screen. I'm also watching James Austin, who's currently pulling a tow here behind Tom Daly. Wanting to see if that's going to work for him. So the same strategy being used in multiple parts of qualifying right now.
Absolutely, and everyone's trying to push Vada off the circuit. That is an off track. He'll have one final attempt then to put a lap together on the board. It was a shame. He was slightly slower. If he'd kept that in the margins, he might have improved ever so slightly on his times. Stephen Orrell moves up then. As soon as he does, Chaz Draycott moves into 6th position. Chaz, absolutely incredible in terms of a driver. You can see he's got the Simply Race banner on the back, indicating part of his commentary experience out there. And one of these sorts of drivers who does do quite a bit for the sim racing community with his Formula One series.
Yeah, he certainly does. So thank you for the work you do there. As you said, qualifying is just about to expire here. So guys, one, maybe 2 more laps in, depending upon where you are on track at this time.
Well, the checkered is out as Chaz takes out the cones. Kivisto can't improve on his lap time. And you start to see then the group try and make it over. The likes of James Austin, for example, can't put a time in on the board, and it looks like everyone's struggling to find the improvements that they need. The likes of Mackenzie Mann trying to make some progress here as well. Over the line, no dice, but pretty much almost everyone has made it over towards the line. Still got the likes of Nuno Sousa, who is way off the pace at the moment in 16th. He's going to drive for the line, and he doesn't improve either. So this is a tough track if you can't get the pace sorted. Everybody's done. And so I think we have the opportunity right now to make that escape over towards our starting grid here today from Lime Rock Park. It's a 28-lap affair, 35 minutes, whichever turns up for the books first. And, well, it is the Bulgarian who has control of the field outright. It's Jordanin Svetanov who is clear with a 57.775, clear by over a tenth from Michael Ellett in second, and Kaye Kivisto then in 3rd place. Sandavada will start from 4th position with Tom Daly, the championship leader, having work to do in 5th. Then you've got Stefan Alderding in 6th position. Row 4 sees Chaz Draycott there and James Austin. They are 7th and 8th. Pedro Marimon will start from 9th, and it's Stephen Orrell who rounds out the top 10.
All right, that's your top 10. Let's go and look at the next rows. Row 6 is Yavi Lopez in P11, followed by Brett Ride in P12. Row 7, Mackenzie Mann and Willem van Brassel. Row 8, Victor Oliveira and Nuno Sousa. Row 9, Amila Bacchus and Patrick Alders. And then row 10 is Putenstein and then Peter Reed starting P20.
We'll look back then to the third row, or the third page, I should say. Jacob Szymanski there in 21st, along with Aaron McGrath. You've got Alvaro Rodriguez and David Guedes there on row 12. Then Martin Smith and Kai Rantanen there on row 13. René Zegelar and David Mitchell follow Bruno Albino and Jason Guerrara for the 30-car field. We're going to get ourselves, though, going in just a couple seconds here. 28 laps from Lime Rock Park. Lights are on and the lights are out. Let's get ourselves underway. It's a good start from Svetanov from the front, already covering over 4th and 5th. You can see Sandavara pushing Tom Daly off almost into the grass as they head towards the Big Bend for the first time. They all survive side by side for the race leaders. They charge on through turn 2 towards turn 3. Svetanov is able to hold, at least in the early stages, over Elliott, but that could have been very dangerous off of the start in front of the majority of the field.
Lots of contact in the back here in the Big Bend, so we can get a view of it in a second. There's at least, I think, 1 or 2 different wrecks back here, so unfortunately not everyone's going to make it through when we already have some people who have decided to tow back to pit road. The majority of the field makes it through Big Bend, but unfortunately not everybody is going to get up to the left-hander.
No, that was Reed and Putenstein who came together there, and that was definitely not the plan they wanted on the early exchanges. Down the hill, the Bulgarian, the South African, the Finn, the Dutchman, the Irishman, the Brit, and now that is the top 6. But they fan out then on the Sam Posey straight. And here will come the first chance for Michael Elliott, the South African, to make the move down the inside to take the race lead away on lap 2. But big commitment around the outside. It's always going to put Svetanov back into play. You can see side by side between Kavisto and Vada there for 3rd and 4th. Only for the briefest moment, they fight through the left-hander, and surely it will be secured through this right hook of a corner here. This brilliant turn number 4, and ultimately Svetanov is starting to hold the train up.
He certainly is, and he right there in P5, right behind him is your points leader, Tom Daly, now in line to get your top 6 cars. Basically in the line, and actually further back than that. If you look here in the back of the camera shot, you'll see we've got it. We've outlined for now. That's not going to stay there, but it's a nice thought.
Certainly is, and this train goes way back to 18th position, and Aaron McGrath out there in the number 42 car, the answer to life, universe, and everything according to the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Battle on for second. Here comes the first little look. It's Kavisto trying to work a way through. Tom Daly sets the fastest lap of the race. A little check up there for the 2 teammates there working together, and this is something that also doesn't often get talked about. Your teammates, you can work together to try and make things happen, but Svetanov here has got a little bit of a pace advantage, it seems. He's able to pull out a little tenth and a half there through that Big Bend section, and they are starting to drop James Austin here in the 24.
They really are. Svetanov, though, starting to pull a lead here. You would think that these teammates could work together and find a way. Maybe they will, but as we start to head down here into the...
Oh, slow down for Draycott.
Oh, that's unfortunate. That's
It really is. And the thing about a slowdown penalty as well, it's iRacing system implemented, is they can see trying to look down the inside of Sandavara there. Well, that was Tom Daly trying to make that pass, not happening. The awkward thing about a slowdown is that on the opening 2 laps, that's a disaster. Fortunately for Chaz Draycott, lap 3, he only has to give himself a second and a bit as Svetanov sets the fastest lap. Draycott's off. Contact with Alderding.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. They were coming out here into the Big Bend, and just contact made. It's going to send both of them off the track. We'll have to see how badly those cars are damaged here. These MX-5s are kind of durable within the iRacing service, but we'll wait and see here. And this looks like, unfortunately, Draycott just got tapped here and sent into the grass.
Yeah, not ideal at all. Both battling for the inside as they went in towards turn number 1, and ultimately someone was going to come out with tears, and that was Chaz Draycott at that point in time. Here's your leading group, though. Still, Svetanov in the lead. Elliott, Kavisto, Vada, Daly. Your top 5 trying to cling on is James Austin in 6th position, and this is going to be a track where everyone's going to want to try and jostle for position. They all know how important this place is. But again, this is almost a very tactical circuit. It's going to take you a lap, sometimes even 2 laps here, Derek, to maneuver your opponent into a position of weakness.
Yeah, we talked in the beginning of this broadcast. It's all about momentum. These are fixed setups. These MX-5s are not the most powerful car in iRacing. In fact, they're the car that we start with on the road racing side of iRacing. So it's all about momentum. So unlike maybe other broadcasts we've seen or done, you're not going to power your way up there. You're going to have to really work at it.
That was Mackenzie Mann that we just saw off the circuit there as we look back at our leading quintet at this moment in time, running through the West Bend, down the hill, under the Haggerty Bridge, and in towards the diving bend, the final corner out here on circuit. And you can see there just a little bit of a kick up. Whoa! Austin way off the circuit. James Austin having to go for a ride to save it.
He really did. It's actually amazing he saved that coming there down the straightaway. Good job for him, though. Good news, I think, for him, though, and for Tom Daly, those teammates could link up here soon and make those small moves you were talking about.
Absolutely they could, as we watch Brett Ride here in the number 70 machine try and figure out his way past Stephen Orrell here. The two Brits going at it, trying to figure out if they can find a move. And here on the what is known by in Amazon terms as the Isn't Straight, moves along here through the right, up through the uphill, and then you got this short run, and you're so momentum driven, and it's really tough, especially on this newer layout, this repaved layout of Lime Rock Park, to get yourself into position to make that move. Yeah,
so as you said, it's a repaved layout, so it's a little different than maybe what some people on iRacing will remember it to be. So it's a fun surface to race on.
Absolutely it is, and you know what, you can still race that legacy variant as well, and of course any legacy variant out there on iRacing is pretty much free for brand new users out there, so chances are there. So there is going to be a very, very tough battle out there, and this is going to be so crucial for these leaders. We're already on lap 7 here of 28, so a quarter distance score complete at the end of this lap. And a lot of drivers are going to be patient in these early stages. You don't want to lose your race outright, but you've got to try and jockey and get a position here, a position there. It is going to be very tough to keep yourself in that train of mind. 4th and 5th seems to be where the big battle is. Sandavada has to be very careful. The 67 of Tom Daly has got a monstrous run here and is trying to navigate his way to the inside. He gets himself alongside for the overtake and in towards turn number 1. Oh, he just forces his way through a bit of yellow helmet syndrome of the legendary Ayrton Senna in that pass.
Yeah, so here we come down the Sam Posey straight. You see he's, he has it lined up now, going to look to the inside as we get down ready for the big bend here. See if he can complete this pass and take over P4, and it looks like he will for the moment. Yep, there he goes. He cleared it, and that is going to be P4 for your points leader, Tom Daly.
Yeah, it certainly is, and we just saw that out there on circuit, so there are opportunities knocking and almost into the wall on the uphill. There goes Tom Daly. He's going to be in a little bit of trouble if that is the case. It has also allowed top 3 to potentially breakaways. Again, he pushes wide, this time through the West Bend. Vada also running off wide is going to open up James Austin then with a chance to attack. This is a track which just chains mistakes to you. You make one, you lose the rhythm, and then suddenly you're making 5 mistakes before you know it.
Yeah, it's easy in these cars to make a mistake, and either just because of rhythm or because you kind of get frustrated with yourself. The next thing you know, the next 3, 4, 5 corners, you feel like you just can't get back in that rhythm, and you kind of get mad at yourself, only making it worse.
Absolutely, and it's a track of patience here, and patience especially in the group behind. Oh, you can see over the curb there, very aggressively goes James Austin. You can see the group behind here. You got Pedro Marimon out there at the front of this one, the Spaniard. Then you've got a very nice double-decker Brit sandwich. Ride and Orrell are there, and then the other bit of the bread is Xavi Lopez, who is there at this point in time. Behind that, you could say the plate is Russell, and you could also say then that the table is Alderding at this point in time. A lot of work to do, and that's your sandwich of the season so far.
That is an interesting analogy there. I like that. That's well done.
Well, I hope the sandwich is well done, otherwise it's going to be a problem for whoever's eating it. Here comes Ride, though, trying to make this move then to the inside. Has he got an opportunity then at turn 1 and 2? You can work the outside line, but going deep through the corner, you're not going to be able to get that turn in there for Marimon, and leaving that car width and a half. He tries to look, but he has to hit the brakes early because there wasn't enough of a channel there. So Ride getting the position he wants, and ultimately he will move up into 7th position.
There you go. So P7 now is where he sits, and we come here the hill here through the uphill, and just gonna look to just increase that lead here as we're already almost halfway through this race.
Absolutely. We're coming on towards lap 11 here of 28. Leaders have been the same, but here comes an attempt of a move then in the battle for second. You can see just behind that, very wide was Tom Daly, but here comes Kaye Kavisto looking for the inside, but he breaks early and says, you know what, Michael, you still got a chance, and that is the sound of somebody's engine popping through turn number 1. So drama's there for James Austin, who blows an engine, and Stephen Orrell's in the fence.
That engine popping sound is the worst thing you can hear. Even from up here, when you hear it, you just kind of cringe, because we've all been there. We've all felt it. It's just, but in the fence there, that's also not a favorable position, obviously. So that's going to affect that. Now, we went back to what you're saying about the pass here for second. I thought maybe they thought, hey, we're teammates. It's not time to really do that yet. And they backed out and decided to stay in line here.
They certainly did. No point in risking the race just yet. And of course, if they want to play the team orders card and try and work their way forward, then they've got opportunities. Worth noting, if you do get involved in an incident, there is no limit to how many fast repairs you have. So they've got chances. Another search to the inside for Kavisto, who is not going to be able to get that move, and a big lunge through the opening foray of the corner there for Michael Elliott. Puts a little bit more pressure on Jordanin Svetanov, who is out there giving himself a really strong showing here today on what he is capable of doing. And this is some great racing out here at the front. And the crucial thing is they're not actually making any moves. And that's going to be the key. They don't have to express it in that way, as there's a little look from Tom Daly in the 67, the championship leader, thinking about it, but it's just that, a thought. And they can see someone backwards going through turn number 2. And that's Mackenzie Mann for the second time for the SimTech team.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. He and David Geddes made contact. And then David in the 15 car just kept moving forward. Unfortunately, McKenzie went backwards beyond that.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is going to be so very crucial in terms of what this race is all about. To the outside then, tries Tom Daly to get past Kaye Kavisto. And Kavisto just getting a shove through the corners. Well, these MX-5s are durable. They're very much there, and Daly is trying to work and muscle his way through around the outside of the left-hander. For the right-hander, he gets through up into third. What a move that is.
That's a great move by your point stater. Just a small bump, nothing harmful. Just maybe a hello. How's your Sunday doing? And then made the pass there.
He's opened himself up, though, here on the run to West Bend. He was slightly wide going through. They can see the leading 2, and then third position now starting to fall backwards a little bit. It'll take some work to get back to Michael Elliott. And Elliott here, I think, has just been given a golden ticket. Now's your time that you need to attack, because it's a free shot of attacking with the group behind not going to pounce if you go out of line. It's a defence then from Jordanin Svetanov, who is there at the front, but no chance for Michael Elliott. The South African continues to have to be patient.
No chance there. But what you do want to note as we get through the big bend here, if they start racing side by side up front, they will allow third and fourth place to catch back up. So you want to time that correctly. You don't want to be hung out there side by side for too long.
No, you absolutely don't. And positions changing all the way through the field. Chaz Draycott, for example, has just made a pass to get inside the top 10. He's gone past Willem van Rassel for position there. So a good pass, but it is your leading group at the moment that we continue with this focus on. It has been solidly Michael Elliott at this point. Jordanin Svetanov leading this race, though, outright, and has led every lap of this race at this point, but we know that it's never a guarantee around Lime Rock Park as we chalk half distance then as they cross the start-finish line, and they still know that it's a very long way to go if this race will end up the way that they hope as we look under the Samposi Bridge in towards turn numbers 1 and 2 once again. And once more, it's starting to form back up as a 5-car pack. Sandavara holding on very well behind and almost running off the circuit actually for 6th position if we can move back ever so slightly. There was Pedro Marimon.
Yeah, in fact, as you said that, he actually went off in the grass on the left a little bit here, and now is going to get challenged too wide here through these corners. And nope, he's going to hold on to that spot for now for P6.
Yeah, that's Xavi Lopez just behind. Stefan Alderding is there as well with Brett Ride, and a search up the inside of uphill is always brave if you can try and manage it. Great run behind from Alderding, who will move to the outside to try and pick off this run, and it's going to get dicey here as trying to search her way through was Brett Ride. He was trying to be the ultimate opportunist.
Say what, not only is that dicey, but you look at how Marimon is attacking these curbs here. It's maybe a little aggressive for my taste, and you do that too hard and you'll find yourself spun out or off track or in a wall or somewhere you don't want to be in this race.
I mean, these curbs are a lot flatter than the majority of curbs that you find out there. They're by no means Nürburgring curbs, I'll put it to that. But they are able to be attacked, and you can use a lot of it. And these MX-5s, you know, you're trying to really work. These are 8-shifter cars. You have to heel and toe in these machines, which often surprises a lot. And look at this, forcing away alongside the two Spaniards going together. Xavi Lopez down the inside, forcing Marimon almost to the tires.
That's right. Look at this. We talked, 3 wide. You have Brett Ride putting 3 wide. Contact behind him. They're both good, but Brett Ride took advantage of that 2 wide racing and said, I'll take a spot here. And in fact, he got 2 out of it as he is now down through the downhill back to the San Posey straight.
Also taking advantage there was Draycott, who picked up a couple positions. Willem van Rassel now side by side with his teammate here, trying to work out whether he can find a way through. So no dice then as they try and push forward and try and make something happen. It doesn't quite work out for them just yet, but long way to go, and Marimon is absolutely falling backwards. Off a cliff, contact there with Patrick Alders as they go through, trying to round around the outside of them as Aaron McGrath, and McGrath is going to try and get past both of them, and I think just about has managed it.
Yeah, look at this. I thought he was going to get him. I was going to say, look at this, halfway through the race, and it's like all of a sudden the intensity has gone to 11.
Absolutely. I hate to think what will happen in the last 5 laps if this is 11 out there in the racing. But a look for the race lead down the inside for the lead. And now taking advantage. Has he gone too deep as Elliott? He has. And it's contact. Daly turns around Svetanov and takes the lead. And Vara takes a tap as well, trying to save it under what was very difficult grassy conditions. Sander Vara takes a check to the body.
So unfortunate. Coming down to San Posey straight. Hopefully we'll get a replay of it in a second. You'll see that Elliott made the pass, undercut him, and just couldn't hold the line, and calamity ensued thereafter.
Absolutely. Calamity Jane had nothing on this. This was a very tough battle. Elliott aggressive down the inside, desperately trying to check it up, a little bit in the grass, and Svetanov had to go to the inside, but making his way through was Daly, and Daly effectively just had to bulldoze his way through. It was the only way he would have made through the corner.
Yeah, that's so unfortunate. That's the frustrating part of racing sometimes, is you get caught up in something you had no decision power in. And that's so unfortunate. That's a big hit too.
A heavy hit, and now it changes the order at the front. Tom Daly leads this race. It's Kaye Kavisto in second, Michael Elliott third, Sander Vara in fourth, Jordanin Svetanov now in 5th position. Out there on track, as you can see, the battle for the race lead on your screen with 10 laps to go here at Lime Rock Park. Daly in control, the championship leader, but Kavisto is definitely not a driver to try and give up. He has the number 1 on the car after all, which indicates that he is one of the very quickest drivers out there in this series, and he will know better than anybody else what it takes to really pilot and effectively wrangle a wagon like these Miatas, and that's trouble on the backstretch.
That is trouble. I'm trying to see who it is. It's Brett Ride. Yeah, he's slow. Now, I'm simming here. He's going to have to come in and use one of those fast repairs, because that is into the wall. Yeah, I think he's just going to stop there and tow it out.
Yeah, he's just gone over the hill, pushed a bit too hard, and thrown it straight to the inside tyres without any control of the car. So, big disaster for Brett. He was on a really good drive inside the top 10, and that one will fall away for him. Great battle going on here between Stefan Alderding and Chaz Draycott. Now, remember earlier on in the race, it was those two coming together through turn 1 that sent both of them spiraling down the order.
It really was, and it's just a great way to show people, no matter if it's league racing, official racing, stick it out, because you never know where you may finish despite an early incident. This is going to be possibly a great run for both of them as they're battling for 7 and 8 right now.
Absolutely, and great runs right now and great recoveries through the field. They know they've got to work. It's about a second plus to Xabi Lopez, who is there in 6th place. So this race far from over just yet. As you can see here, that run through onto the Sam Posey Straight on what is a track that, for all intents and purposes, is probably one of the smaller circuits out there on the iRacing service, is one of the more technical circuits by skill on the iRacing service, because you really have to master what it takes around a place like this. This is a very tough place to battle at and a very tough place to cleanly pass at.
It really is a tough place to cleanly pass at. It takes a lot of courage to race here, because you really have to be willing to throw it in there and stick with it. As we're going to see our leader here, it's going to come up on lap traffic. Oh, way in the grass is Tom Daly.
Oh, that's going to be trouble. He'll lose all the momentum down the hill, and this will put Kaye Kavisto into position. The drafting potentially for Jacob Szymanski, who gets out of the way, so no draft there. But here comes the run from Kavisto. He's close, but not enough. In towards that opening corner, the big bend, slightly opened up there against that very, very important white, green and blue machine, but no dice just yet. It's going to be another waiting game in terms of this one. But talking about team games, somehow Kavisto and Elliott are still 2nd and 3rd.
How crazy that is after what we saw a little bit ago with all that contact, that they have found each other again. By the way, real quick, big props to Jacob Szymanski. Knew that he was just not in the way, but didn't want to affect this lead, so he pulled over down the straightaway to let these guys go.
And just on the infield there was Pedro Marimon, whose race is pretty much all but over. He's spun it a number of times and his day done. Alders as well, struggling with a technical issue out there on circuit, so that's why he's dropped way out of contention here. But the front of the field continues to be what we focus on, and we got a little bit of trouble there as someone's a little bit slow out there on circuit with a bit of a spin going through the opening sections of the circuit. Just coming up the hill, it looks like there was issues for Amanula Bacchus.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for him. Wanted to do well today, but that spin is not going to help your case here. But listen, with the amount of trouble we're seeing and wrecks and failures, who knows what you can get out of this still, right?
That wasn't a spin, that was contact there with Bruno Albino, who is there in 12th position, started 29th, up 17. So that's not ideal at all. We'll get a look on the Global SimRacing Channel replay. This is going through the right. Door is left open. I'll try and get down the inside, but he was never alongside to begin with.
No, that's not even a door open. That's just, that was like knocking the door open. That's not how you're supposed to do that at all.
It's the sort of thing where the police knock on your door and you're not home, so they try and push through the door using a battering ram. So not ideal. This is what happened to Marimon. Oh, just grabbing the tyres. And you can see that the back left suspension is completely caved in. Of course, these Miatas on a iRacing new damage model.
Yeah, in fact, I just saw him come off pit road as Tom Daly and the rest of the leaders came by. So he's already been on pit road and got that fast repaired and is back out on the track.
Well, this is all about momentum right now. We're inside the final 5 laps. Kaye Kavisto on the back of Tom Daly, trying to find a way through. You could say that it's going swimmingly right now for Daly. He knows what he needs to do out there on circuit. He's just got to keep the momentum up and keep Kavisto away from turn number 1, the prime place to get it done. But if you can get a monster run through this final corner, you do use that slipstream and get that chance. Big move over to the left, back over to the right-hand side, as you can see on screen. Chances for Kavisto are there, but again, he's not quite there. He needs to be effectively riding the back bumper of that Wampa Motorsports car coming out of the final corner to have a chance to make a run.
You see his teammate Michael Ellett in the background, a little bit of an off track. Now, what would also maybe be workable here with 4 laps to go would be if Kavisto wants to back it up a little bit. Maybe him and Ellett could work together to get around Tom Daly.
You've also got the battle for 5th position as well that might be hotting up, as Svetanov will have to deal with Xabi Lopez towards the end. Up the hill, though, through uphill, you can see that it gets very squirrely as you go through that section. You don't want to lose the back end, and just pushing to the absolute limit. You've got gravity helping you through the diving turn, and Kaye Kavisto knows he has got to find something magical in the final stages of this race. He knows how difficult it is to overtake. He stays back underneath again. He's even closer than he was last lap, but still he can't find the magical line that opens up the attempt on Daly, the Irishman.
Yeah, it's going to be a tight race, I think, all the way to the end for both these guys. Tom Daly, of course, wants to hold on to that points lead by grabbing another victory.
It would extend that margin out, and that would be so very key, but he's going to push a bit too wide, and that's the chance that Kavisto's been looking for. Had to check up, though. Goes to the outside here for uphill. Has he got a line for it? No, he understeers like crazy through the corner. An opportunity lost.
An opportunity lost, but an opportunity gained for third place. This is now a 3-car race. You see that gap has closed for all 3. So one man's loss is another man's gain.
Absolutely, and it also proves that Daly is mortal out there on circuit. They can see just behind Vada in 4th position. He's not a part of this battle just yet. We got 3 laps to figure this out, and Kavisto is still close, but not close enough. Moving in towards turn number 1 and 2 again. Elliott happy just to stay there in 3rd. He will take so much of an advantage if it goes wrong between the top 2.
He really will, and you have to think right now, Tom Daly can hear it. He can hear Kavisto coming. Every 10th of a second on the track, he must know he's there. You can see him in his mirrors, and trust me, he can feel him back there trying to find a way through.
Absolutely, you can see both drivers really attacking the curb through uphill, trying to gain as much road as they possibly can to exploit out there on circuit. They go through the West Bend, they'll descend down the hill under the Haggerty Bridge, and they will have 2 laps to figure this out. Has Kavisto this time found enough of a run? There's a lot of smoke down there on the pits, and here is the run. Kavisto trying to go to the outside, 2 tires in the grass. You can't find a way through. He was pushed all the way to the outside, and the run is tempered.
Yeah, I was going to say that was the run, because if you looked down through the downhill, Kavisto was closing in, but Daly closed the door ultimately down the straightaway.
He certainly did, and he wasn't afraid to do it either, was the number 67 machine. Kaye Kavisto knows he's in a really, really tough race, and he's got to find the magic formula this time. Behind the Marimon, going for a slide there to lap traffic, but it has opened the gap out here by a couple of tenths of a second here, and Daly struggles, grabbed too much curb on the inside, and he's going to be in trouble here heading to West Bend.
He really is, and now the story could become, as we get ready to head down the downhill again, pardon me, there's a lapped car up there, or at least a slower car. Maybe he plays a part, maybe he doesn't. Final corner.
Here we go. It's all about the drive. They've tried everything and a bit more. Look to the inside. It's not going to be enough. Kaye Kavisto can't do it. Tom Daly, through diving corner, wins it here at Lime Rock Park.
Wow, what a performance by Tom Daly. Made his move when the incident happened over in the Big Bend, and came out the winner in today's race.
Absolutely, and that was a case of a pike and a tuck and everything else you could put into it. That was such a tough race to try and figure out between what was the start and the end. We still got a number of drivers trying to make it home to the line. The likes of Zegalar here in a race. You've got David Mitchell trying to figure out if he can find a pass. Alvaro Rodriguez has done well also out there today to gain spots, and basically the final couple drivers, they will make it over towards the line, and some good racing, some hard racing out there today here from Lime Rock Park. We're going to take this moment, though, to step aside for just 1 second here as we situate our thoughts, and we'll be back with the post-race coverage after this.
This is iRacing, the world's premier online racing game. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat to experience today's newest form of competitive motorsport, virtual racing, all from your home PC. Race virtually in endorsed series from NASCAR, IndyCar, IMSA, the World of Outlaws, Aussie Supercars and more. Take on legendary circuits like Daytona, Silverstone and the Nürburgring. Join iRacing's global online racing community and get on track today at iRacing.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Lime Rock Park. Conclusion of what was a very hard-fought race from minute 1 to minute last of this very, very important Sunday Drivers' Club meeting. It was Tom Daly in the end who managed to pick up the victory, did so 27 minutes, 27 seconds, and his margin of victory in the end as he fought hand over fist with Kaya Kavisto was just about a tenth of a second. Michael Elliott had the chance, dived for the lead, just went in a little bit too deep, and ultimately still came away with third position today, with Sandavara in fourth, and Jordanin Svetanov, who took the early lead of this race. He found himself on the wrong side of Tom Daly's door, and ultimately that means that he is fifth position overall. Xavi Lopez will take sixth, with Chaz Dracott finishing in seventh. Stefan Olderding, then will take eighth place, with Willem van Rassel in ninth, and Nuno Salsa rounding out the top 10.
All right, with that, let's go ahead and look at our next set of finishers. Get Aaron McGrath in P11, Bruno Albino in P12, Mackenzie Mann in P13. You got Bacchus in the Tid car in 14, Victor Oliveira in 15th. You got 16 there, the 28 car of Zegliar, David Mitchell in 17th, Peter Reed in 18th, Jason Guerrera in 19th, and David Geddes rounds out your top 20.
The rest of these drivers are a lap down, or they have found themselves to retirement central today. Jacob Szymanski, 1 lap down, along with Brett Ride, Alvaro Rodriguez, Martin Schmidt is in there, as well as Pedro Marimon, 2 laps down. We've seen his adventures today. James Austin had the engine blow on him. That wasn't ideal. Henrico Putenstein also there, 2 laps down, along with Kaja Rantanen. And then 9 laps down, Patrick Alders and Stephen Orrell, having himself an horrible day, to pardon the pun. He finds himself down at the bottom in 30th position. But we are going to take this opportunity now to talk to some of our drivers. And our race winner here today was Tom Daly. He was stood by with Derek Watson.
All right, thank you so much for that, Tom. First off, congratulations on the win, and good run today, keeping up with that points lead.
Thanks. It was a good race now. Good bumper-to-bumper race from start to finish. Mega fun.
Yeah, very much fun. So you found yourself not up front at first, but you found your way around that incident. Talk us through that incident. What was going through your mind as you saw that contact happening that put you in first?
I just see driver 1 and 2 just late on the brakes, pushing out wide. So I just tried to get as tight of a line in and try to squeeze my way through. Literally just go for the gap on the inside and just put the pedal to the metal.
There you go. That works sometimes. Sometimes you just got to go for it and see what happens. So good run today. So next week we're at Silverstone with the Sunday drivers. Talk to us about your feelings about Silverstone and, how you're feeling about that.
Just go in. Not a track I'm too familiar with, but we'll just go in with the same headspace we always do a couple of test sessions as a team, and we'll just pick things up as they come.
All right, well, great day. Yeah, great day for yourself. Unfortunately, it looks like one of your teammates might have blown a motor early, so we'll see how the team points handle out there.
Shame. Jay was doing great coming up right with us, and he blew a gearbox partway through the race. It's a shame, but that's racing.
It is racing. Well, once again, congrats on the winners. Any sponsors you want to thank, friends and family you want to call out, or anyone else?
Just, as I said, everyone at Team Rompy Motorsports and all family and friends back at home.
There you go. Well, that is Tom Daly. He is your winner of today's race.
He absolutely was, and he did a very, very good job of it. Kaya Kavisto, though, finished off in second position, joins with us right now. Really the sort of race for you where there were chances, you had opportunities, but it just looked like that defense was so aggressive that you couldn't find a way to pass.
Yeah, it felt for me that I had more race pace, but towards the end. But I don't know. It could have been also that the draft was affecting that much. But yeah, very, very hard racing. I think 28 laps, pure action. So I'm exhausted.
I don't blame you at this point in time, Kalle, but you're looking at what is an incredibly difficult circuit to pass at, a track where everybody pretty much knows what this place is all about. They've driven it before. It's one of the first places you go to in iRacing. Do you look at this as a track where it's not about who's quick here, but who knows how to master their racecraft?
Yeah, exactly. And qualifying is very, very important. And the qualifying today was absolutely insane. I think there were like 3 cars within 2,000 of a second or something. That's crazy.
Certainly is. Silverstone then becomes the next port of call in terms of the championship. You look at that in terms of a track, you look at it as an opportunity to move forward a little bit more open, more expansive, more high speed. Do you feel like you can take some of the high speed chasing that you've had to do today and effectively say, well, I've got opportunities to overtake next time I'm racing, and that you maybe have that opportunity to take a lot of lessons out of racing here this week?
Hopefully, yeah. I've always been quite strong in Silverstone, but then again, Tom Daly has been strong the whole season, so I wouldn't be surprised if I find myself behind Tom next time.
Well, the floor is yours. Shout out sponsors. Who gets it done with the team back at Positive Delta?
Well, of course, I want to thank my teammate. We were doing a fantastic job early race. I'm not quite sure what happened to Michael, but I will find out. And of course, thanks to you guys commentating. Thanks to Sander for organizing the league, and very unfortunate disaster happened to him as well today. But that's life. But anyway, thanks for all the people involved.
No worries at all. Kayaka Vista that joining us, and with a really strong second place finish. Third place would go along to his teammate Michael Ellett, stood by with Derek Watson.
There you go, Michael. Welcome in P3 today. Walk us through your feelings after this race.
Yeah, not bad. Yeah, look at that. I thought it was quite a good race. You know, I thought I had to try something for the lead, but unfortunately I overdid a little bit going into turn 1. And yeah, it was just a shame then that there was a bit of contact with Jordanine after that. But yeah, overall super happy to open my podium account for the year and really get the championship underway.
There you go. As you said, unfortunately, a lap 18 incident with Svetnov there when you guys were battling for the lead. At what point did you kind of know this is going to go bad?
Well, to be honest, I didn't think it would go bad because I knew I'd overdone it. You know, so I was kind of hoping by me staying on the far outside would leave enough space. But obviously, you know, we weren't anticipating that Tom Daly was going to be down the inside as well. So we're essentially 3 wide. So yeah, it's just unfortunate.
Yeah. And this has happened, and it's always frustrating especially for yourself, I'm sure, to think that happened. That's always a hard thing as a racer to get over. So next week, go to Silverstone. Talk us through your feelings about Silverstone and what you're looking forward to.
Yeah, Silverstone's always a track I enjoy. I can't remember which layout it is, but depending on the layout, it should be quite a good one. But yeah, super stoked to finally get a good result tonight.
Awesome. Well, congrats again on being up on the podium in P3. Before we let you go, any sponsors, friends, family, pets, anyone you want to say hello to?
Yeah, just to my teammate Calais. I thought he drove incredibly well tonight. So yeah, just glad that we could get a good result for Positive Delta Motorsport, and look forward to continuing the good form.
All right. Well, that is the driver of the 2 car, Michael Ellett, finishing P3 in tonight's race at Lime Rock.
Absolutely. He had a very good show. Now, one driver who had an up and down and all-around race was Chaz Draycott, who joins us right now. Chaz, let's just say it was here, it was there, it was everywhere, and somehow you finished where you started.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a frustrating season so far. I joined the championship on an invite, basically at the end of 2020. Won my first race and then won a couple. Pretty much every race I did when I wasn't away commentating, I was racing here, and I almost won every race I did last year. But at the minute, it's not going too swimmingly, to be honest with you. We had a decent race at the start of the season, but yeah, since then it's been very rough and tumble. I wasn't best pleased this evening.
Well, it was a very, very tough race, and it had to be said that the attrition value, not necessarily at the end of the race, but that drivers were making mistakes and positions were picked up, that you did have that opportunity with that grit and determination to basically use some of the background that you've had in previous racing over the years to move up through the field. Do you take this as sort of like a way that you can gain an advantage, that you've been able to make all these places through the field? You got back to 7th position, and with Silverstone a couple of weeks from now, a chance to really go out there and make something happen and to effectively get your season back on track?
I hope so. I mean, I've never been the fastest in the series. I'll always own up to that. You know, I'm never quickest. I bet I've only ever put it on pole once, but it's all about just picking your battles, because there's a number of drivers here that, you know, they're feisty guys, and it's great to race them because it keeps you on your toes. But, you know, as you'll have seen tonight with, I mean, I had a couple of altercations with Stefan particularly, but there's a couple of drivers that you always realise that they want to try and make every single corner an overtaking opportunity. And sometimes that's not the best way to do it. You know, if you've got cars in front of you, you just need to hold back a bit and maybe even just focus on your own line. Like on the uphill at one point, there was 2 drivers fighting in front of me. I lifted completely off the throttle for about 4 seconds down the hill, because I knew that as soon as they went through their full pelt and ran wide, I could plant it, get on the right line and go past them. Didn't work out particularly well, but at the end of the day, I gained all the time back on them just because they were fighting. And I think it's all about some drivers learning that as the season goes on. I've done enough of it to know what to do, but then again, there's a reason I'm a commentator. I'm not the best at putting it into practice.
I mean, there is the old adage, if those who can't drive commentate, but I wouldn't say that in your scenario because you're part of a very, very good sim racing team out there in the form of Zansho Simsport. How important has Zansho been for you in terms of your driver development, not just in terms of how you do, but also the personalities that you're there around with, the likes of Aidan Millward, for example?
There's a great bunch of guys in Zansho. They're all a right laugh. You know, they predominantly compete on R Factor 2 and ACC though. You know, they're incredible on both of those platforms. There is a lot of people that do race on iRacing. It's just a lot of the time I just do this and run the livery. Really, we don't sort of actually communicate that much about it. To be honest with you, they do support me in what I do. You know, I get the odd bit of support from the team, but you know, I'm not really upset if nobody's watching it tonight from the team. You know, it's just one of those things. I'm grateful to be a part of the squad. There's wonderful, wonderful people in there, but it's just one of those. I guess I'm just happy to be there and run the livery.
Well, the floor is yours here, Chaz. Shout out sponsors. Who gets it done for you?
Well, Zansho, always good to run the livery, as I say. Simply Race, their sponsors, and Silverstone Composites as well, and all the guys behind the scenes there. The missus that puts up with me doing all of this and spending every waking minute in my office at home, and everybody who's watching tonight, and you guys as well for the broadcast. Cheers.
No worries at all. Chaz Draycott there joining us. A race from 7th to 7th, but it was a road very hard travelled. Derek, you got one final driver you have the chance to talk to, and that, of course, is the league organiser and driver who finished in 4th place today in Sandavara.
All right. Thank you so much, Sandra, for coming in here. P4 tonight. Talk us through the race and how you felt about it.
Yeah, hi guys. It was a good race from my side, I think, this time. A bit unlucky not to be with the top guys until the end, because I got caught up in the incident with Michael and Jordan just came back on track, of course, out of control, and he hit me. So yeah, there was still a little bit of, a feeling of I could have done better, but after the first 3 races I had, being taken out in the first and the third race, also in podium positions, and I think I'm like 22nd in the championship or something after the first 3 races. So I'll take this 4th place happily.
I'm sure you will. So we talked a little bit about that lap 18 incident. Talk us through how you felt about it. Like, not how you felt, but what was your point of view? Did you think you had cleared it? What were your thoughts as you saw it happening develop in front of you?
To be honest, my view was a little bit blocked because I was also still behind Kalle and Tom, and so I don't really know what happened. I just saw a bit of smoke. I saw Jordan coming up, and then he went to the right. I guess he turned his car and he just came straight back on the track again. So I just, I was I couldn't do anything, and was just another little stroke of bad luck. I was happy to be able to continue, but the car after that was just it wasn't as it should be. So I was actually trying to hold on to 4th place, and I guess Jordan also had some damage because it was more or less staying the same, the gap. So yeah, well, there are good points at least, and it's a little bit difficult to swallow that I wasn't in the lead battle, because I think things got heated there, so I might have been able to do something, but in the end, it's fine.
Yeah, you know, though, it is a testament to your skill, though, that after that incident, you stick at P4. There's a lot of racers out there who may not still be P4 after an incident like that. So next time we race here, we're going to be at Silverstone. Talk us through how you feel about the track. Are you confident there? What are you looking forward to?
Yeah, it's good that we have a little bit of a longer track, I think, again, because we did now the short ones. The 3 out of the first 4 were short tracks. So now going back to Silverstone is, but on the long version, the Grand Prix version, that's I always like the track. Makes you feel like a little bit more of a racer on on wide tracks and on maybe the more common tracks in motorsport. So yeah, it's nice to go there, and hopefully I can do another good result. Top 5 would be great.
Yeah, top 5 would be great. Maybe next time you'll find yourself up on the podium like you were aiming for today. Well, the floor is yours. Anyone you want to thank? Teammates, family, friends, pets, anyone like that?
Yeah, mainly everyone in the league. We have some new rules in as trying to keep the races clean, and at least I see some improvement from the first round. First round was a bit messy, and little by little I see some improvement. So that's always good to see. And everyone in the chat is always really supportive. It's a great group, and hopefully I think the attendance today was around 30. So hopefully we see a little bit more again in the next races. Yeah, and to you guys, GSRC, really happy with the broadcasting. It's important to say that also, because as an admin, I'm very much in contact with Joe and organizing things, but super professional broadcasts. I love the camera angles and everything. Also, the communication with Joe is fantastic, so worth to be said. So yeah, many thanks to you guys.
Well, thank you so much, and congrats on a P4 finish here at Lime Rock.
Okay, guys. See you next time.
See you next time, indeed. There you have it, Sandavara having a very fun run out there. 4th position despite the contact, but that's going to just about do it for us then here at Lime Rock Park. Some wonderful racing has brought itself forward, and we have to give a massive thanks out there to the companies that provide the software and hardware for our broadcast listed here on your screen. An additional thanks, of course, has to go out to June Lalonde, whose music is absolutely sensational, and you can check out her Bandcamp for more of her amazing work. And as well as the team that's been here today, from Derek, Zach, Dougie. You can find more information about the Global SimRacing Channel at globalsimracingchannel.com or through our social media. And while you're there, please check out our merchandise store at gsrc.storenvy.com. We keep a link in the description below. So don't forget, if you haven't already, subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. Like, share, subscribe, do all that you need to do. Do not miss a moment of the action that goes along here on the Global SimRacing Channel, be it live or later, effectively on catch-up. The next race of this championship is going to be a little ways away. It will be the 27th of March that we'll come back to, and Silverstone's Legacy Circuit is the next challenge. Join us again at 5 p.m. Eastern for that one, and as well as some of the upcoming races that are going forward here with what is in the offing for the Global Sim Racing Channel. So, what's next for us? Well, it's still week 12, and Monday night is week 12 for the Porsche Owners Club races. Zandvoort is the time and place, 11 p.m. Eastern. That's when you can jump in and check all of that. So until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.